Hey guys, Happy New Year! It's hard to believe that it's already 2025. This time for New Year's Eve, we decided to travel to Lake Placid and have like a holiday trip to upstate New York. So I would love to tell you about this magical trip because if you live in the vicinity of New York State, I highly recommend that you travel there. And even if you don't, I think it's still worth a trip. If you're the type of person that loves winter, Lake Placid is definitely worth visiting. They hosted Winter Olympic Games there in 1932 and 1980, so they have a lot of like infrastructure for winter sports. And if you are an active type of person, you will not be bored. Lake Placid is located 4.5-hour drive north from New York City, but the way we got there, we were flying from Florida, so we flew from Orlando to Burlington, Vermont. Then we rented a car there and we drove for 2 hours to Lake Placid. So there are airports that are not that far from this town. Hey guys, my name is Polina if this is your first time on my channel, and let me show you what kind of activities you can do in Lake Placid, and also want to share some of the photos and videos from our recent trip. One of the things you can do in Lake Placid is alpine skiing. The ski area is not that large. If you are some sort of like avid skier, you might not be fully satisfied with how many slopes and tracks there are, but it's still worth exploring. Like we spent 3 days skiing. The ski area is called Whiteface Mountain. The first few days the temperature was quite warm, so the snow was melting, but the last day it was below freezing and there was a lot of snow and it was very magical. So even though it's not as good as probably like Colorado or I don't know, skiing in Europe in the Alps, it's still worth it as a ski resort not that far from the city, and I still do recommend checking it out. So we were in Lake Placid for 6 days, and another thing that we did a lot was cross-country skiing. We spent 3 days cross-country skiing in the morning, and we chose skating style. So there is a classic style of cross-country skiing and a skating style of cross-country skiing. And in my opinion, getting the hang of skating style is much more challenging and the learning curve is definitely much steeper, but we had so much fun. And I ended up even trying to do the Olympic track, which was super steep and exhausting for sure. But even my boyfriend, who like doesn't have that much experience in cross-country skiing, this was actually his first time doing it skating style, even he managed to have some fun, even though he was suffering a lot. Yes, it's definitely a challenge, but this is honestly one of my favorite types of workout. So if you're gonna be in Lake Placid and you wanna give it a shot, go to Mount Van Hovenberg. And they have a lot of beautiful tracks that like, you know, snake through the woods, and everything is very well organized. And you can even take like a group lesson or a private lesson. So yes, it's a great place to try out cross-country skiing. And also when we were at this center, we also took a biathlon lesson. So biathlon, it pretty much combines two sports, cross-country skiing and shooting at a range. So you have to go super fast because it's a race, but then you have to slow down your heart rate when it's your time to shoot at the target. So it's very difficult, but we gave it a shot. I think we did quite well, and it was definitely a fun activity as well. Another thing you can do in Lake Placid is ice skating. They have indoor ice skating rinks, but they also have like this speed skating rink outdoors, which is this massive loop. And we tried that one out. It was also fun. I'm not a very big fan of ice skating because I'm just not good at it, you know. Maybe if I take some classes, I will become better. But right now, whenever I ice skate, I'm just like gripped with fear and I'm going super slow and I'm terrified of someone colliding with me. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite activity, But I think if you're into that, you can do both indoor and outdoor and maybe take a lesson, and it's really, really fun. You can also look at some professional athletes training, and they have these speed skating skates with very long blades, and their bodies are like bent halfway whenever they are trying to speed skate. So it can be fun to watch as well. Another highlight from our activities was ziplining on December 31st. We were like joking that we are literally like ziplining into the new year. You know, it was very symbolic. And the ziplining is located at the Olympic ski jumping complex. And when we were there for ziplining, we also by accident got to see some of the professional athletes training for the Olympic trials on the ski jumps. And most of them were just like teenagers, and they had these super tall, super wide skis, and they were climbing these massive ski jumping towers. One of them was like 90 meters tall, another is like 120 meters tall, and in person they look terrifying, absolutely terrifying. The way the infrastructure is built, you can pretty much take a chairlift up and you can go onto this wooden platform that is at the level of like where the athletes take off from the jump. And it was such an adrenaline rush watching them take off. And then they literally fly into an abyss, you know, because you don't even see them because the slope is so steep that they're hidden by the slope. And then you don't even know whether they landed safely until like a second later. So there is always this like suspense. It was such a thrill watching them do it. So right now I mentioned all of the outdoor activities, but we also did some cozy indoor stuff. For example, we signed up for a candle making class at this place called Lake Placid. And it was just a very cozy afternoon, and we made some candles and chose some scents, and it was really nice. And then we also had a sauna in our hotel, which was literally a sauna inside of like a tiny barrel. So we literally crawled in there and were sitting in there, and it was very hot, but it was very cute. So we did that as well. And then we just spent a lot of afternoons playing board games and just spending time with each other, and that was really fun as well. Okay, out of the things that we did not try, but you can do them in Lake Placid, was skeleton bobsledding, which is mind-blowing how terrifying that is. We also didn't try bobsledding. For some reason, they didn't have any slots open for that. We also wanted to do some curling, but again, there was no availability. So maybe for curling, you just have to book it like really in advance. We also didn't do any of the Olympic Museum tours. And another thing that we didn't do was just regular sledding and going on a toboggan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So as you can see, there are plenty of things you can do in Lake Placid, and you definitely can pack your days to the max. Now I want to say a few words about our accommodation. We stayed in this hotel called Eastwind, and it was the best choice. So the hotel premises, they have multiple cabins. They also have bigger houses with like multiple rooms, but we decided to rent our own cabin, and it was like a suite, but it was honestly like super petite and super cozy, and we loved it. We had our own little living room, and we had our own little like writer's nook with a desk and a closet and a fridge. And then we pretty much slept in the attic. There was a mattress in the attic, and there was sloping roof and skylights in the roof, and they were just directly above us, and it was super, super cozy. I highly recommend this hotel, and I specifically recommend this Lushna suite cabin. I feel like staying there was just another highlight from our entire experience. Lake Placid also has larger hotels as well. For example, they have really great Mirror Lake Inn and Whiteface Lodge. These two would probably be the best ones, but we decided to stay in a smaller, cozier hotel. They would make us like hot chocolate anytime and coffee anytime, and they had a very cozy reception space. So yeah, it was really, really great. The food in Lake Placid was also really great. I liked a lot of different restaurants, and I am a vegetarian, so sometimes food can be challenging for me, but I think they had a lot of great options in Lake Placid. Every morning we would go to Origin Cafe. It's on that main street, and the main street was also super cute. There were a lot of these light decorations on the lampposts. There were a lot of people at all times, and it just had a very good ambience. We also would go to this coffee place called Capiche, which was very close to our hotel as well, just like a 2-minute drive. And it also had really great coffee. For a quick lunch, I would recommend this place called The Greeks in ADK, and I think ADK stands for Adirondacks, because that's the name of the mountains where Lake Placid is located. And for a lengthier lunch, Peak 47 at Whiteface Lodge was a great choice. And for very cozy dinners, I recommend Stagecoach Inn, the view at the Mirror Lake Inn, and my last suggestion would be Cafe Rustica. They had amazing Italian food. Let me know if you'd like any other recommendations. I'll be more than happy to give them to you. So yeah, guys, that's it. This was truly a magical trip. At first, I was slightly disappointed that we had to spend our New Year's in the United States because I wanted to go abroad and see my family. But I think now, in hindsight, I think it was a great choice for us to go to Lake Placid. And honestly, I absolutely love this place. I think it's just very refreshing. So I hope you guys get to go there soon. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.